boxing was on a bit of a high before the Olympics, but it went supersonic at the Olympics.
The biggest thing about women's boxing is everyone's got a perception about it. No one actually knows it, no one's ever seen it. People have heard stories from someone else, but no one's ever experienced it for themselves. And when the Olympics came about and people watched it, they were like, wow.
The performance that they put up in the Olympics was exceptional, you know, honestly. Tasha Jonas, Nicola Adams, Savannah, unbelievable.
I actually thought the female boxing in the Olympics was a fantastic standard. I thought they were actually better than the men in terms of skill and technique.
We created history by having the first ever female gold medalist in the Olympics. The sooner we start schoolgirl boxing, and I don't know what people will think about that, there'll be a lot more chance of people boxing for England.
That's what you need. You need people, young girls, and just people in general need to be able to see it.
Thanks to Lucy and Drop, I'm going to add an extra 10 seconds. Get on with it. Get on with it. 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, time. How I got into boxing. I was trying to impress someone. I don't know, I had this idea in my head that I'd just go into the gym, start boxing, and within like a month, I'll get a phone call from GB. Hi Sherelle, you ready to fight? I'm like, yes. And then just like, yeah, that didn't work that way. It kind of went into the gym, was like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? Here I am. But I think the best thing is, like, I used to be like, have a bit of a temper on me, and then I walked in, and then ever since I started training, it was like someone who stepped on my shoe, it'd be like, it'd be like, ish. It's cool. Have a good day, man. Walk into the ring, it's just like, I'm bricking it, man. I'm walking like bricking it. I'm like, so I'm like, okay, let's just start to smile, Sherelle, smile. I have on my Adidas boots, I write on them. I don't hear anything. I honestly don't hear a lot of people unless you shout really loud. I don't hear you because you just got this girl's eyes on you, like, you're like, oh God, here we go. Okay, and then she's probably thinking, right, what should I throw? And I'm thinking, oh, what should I throw? She's probably feeling just as scared as I am. So I'm like, okay, boom, I forget about that. Cool, she's human, she bleeds, I bleed. Cool. Hey, we're pretty much equal. It's pretty much down to who's got the most heart and who wants it more.
Representing the Hanwell Amateur Boxing Club, Charlie Todd. And her opponent, boxing out of the red corner, representing the Islington Boxing Club, Sherelle.
With the support that it had at the Olympics, we'll see an increase in women participation, which we've certainly seen here, albeit we've had, having spoken to other clubs just in the local area, they've had women banging on the door and wanting to join as a result of it, which is great.
When I was younger, I actually thought it was just people trying to like knock each other out and like hurt each other. I didn't see the point in why people did it. So I box, I also do fitness modelling. I'm a single mum, my daughter's 6 years old, her name's Paris, and I also work in the gym that I train in as well. Sacrifice everything. I don't really have a life outside of the gym, to be honest. All my spare time is spent here. I try and spend on the weekends time with my daughter, but during the week I'm in the gym every day, so I don't really go out that much or see my friends as much. I've gone to compete at a boxing show, I've gone to weigh in, and some of the coaches have been walking past me and they're like, oh, you're a boxer? why are you boxing for? You're too pretty to box. You shouldn't be boxing. 3 days before and on the day of the fight, I get really nervous. Can't eat, got butterflies. But as soon as you step foot in the ring, it's weird how it all just goes, and then as soon as the bell goes, that's it. All the nerves have gone.
While we were kicking a ball around, my friends and I, we got all muddied up and went back to our house. Our mother threw a piece of newspaper on the ground and said, "Clean off your shoes before you come in here." So I said, "Wait a minute," looking down at the paper. There was an article called Polly the Champ, and it was about Polly Burns. And I said, "Don't clean your shoes on this piece of paper, I want it." So I took that and read it. I started training boxing. I got some boxing gloves, a punch bag, and trained in the backyard. When I got to the age of about 18 and was old enough, as they said, to do as I wanted, and I could get, I left home and went to London and started training in Mickey Wood's gymnasium. You know, I had my own ideas and I was going to follow them anyway. And it was because I really liked boxing, you know, it wasn't just that I wanted to do something to cause an uproar. I enjoyed the one-on-one competition, you know, and it felt really good because in boxing you kind of trying to outmaneuver and beat a person. It's not that you're trying to beat them up. You're trying to outbox them. I went onto the boxing booth. That was the fairground shows that travelled the countryside because I couldn't get on regular boxing shows. The Board of Control wouldn't allow it. And they also considered it dangerous for women, you know, to be involved in such an aggressive sport. And it was definitely, you know, not an acceptable thing in that day and age. Over there was kind of like, oh, well, you just don't do that. And over here was, well, okay, if you want to do something, let's see how we can go about getting you to do it, sort of thing. That was a different attitude. My husband was my trainer, and and he wasn't intimidated. He was a very hard little puncher.
25 to 30 years ago, there was no women's boxing. You will find somewhere where there was a show to contradict what I've said, but there was no mainstream women's boxing. What existed 25 years ago was a group of women who were committed to boxing. They were boxing fanatics.
They were laughing at me like, girls don't box. So they do, isn't it, on telly last night? And then the owner of the gym was like, no, you can't come in. Like, oh, why not? Because you're a girl. Yeah, I know, but why can't I train? You're not allowed. It's illegal. So I got my dad's friend to phone the owner up and make him let me in the next week. So they let me in and thought they'd just beat me up and then I'll go away, but I just kept going back. And that's where it started, really. There was a gypsy camp next door, so I used to go down and get all the travelling boys to come in and spar with me, and they were just wanted to have a fight. The girl can fight, the girl can fight, they used to say. They used to come every night and spar with me because you couldn't afford to pay sparring partners. Front page of the Independent, like, we've created this monster, and I was the monster.
She doesn't want to be at the start of a movement, neither did Christy Martin. All they want to do is fight. In fact, all they wanted to do, to take it to its most basic, is bash people up.
And I just caused this whole pandemonium and had to change the way the rules are, and women can now box and they're in the Olympics.
I woke up one midsummer morning and thought, I want to be a boxing promoter and I can be a boxing promoter. My husband just sort of had a laugh, really, and said, "You're joking." But 8 months later we were sitting ringside at my first promotion in York Hall. I think there are huge similarities between opera and boxing. When a boxer walks into the ring with that huge amount of music and anticipation and sort of grandeur. And there are sometimes moments in boxing which is a bit like, you know, when, I know, Pavarotti used to hit his high notes. When there's an amazing brawl going on in the middle of the ring, it's like time is suspended.
We're here today to do a talent idea as well and spot talent for future internationals and the future of boxing, basically. A lot of these as well, if you see here, have boxed each other as well, and you'll see they'll be sat alongside each other and they'll be sharing the lunch with each other, and that's what the beauty of females in this sport, I think, is.
My hands are high, so straight shots. So there, edge around. I think women are just overcritical in general. Well, I am the most overcritical person you've ever been in your whole life. I'm self-critical about doing my shoelace up. I'm going to have a go at my left sock in a minute. Do you know how many times I've done this later? I wish we had a coach with us now. I perform better under pressure.
Yeah, you do. You rise to the occasion. You do, actually.
Most people will be watching because they're not ready to go on. One group will be getting warmed up, and everyone else will kind of be watching, which is going to be a bit kind of like
intense.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm quite happy with how normally I don't handle nerves very well, so I've been okay today actually, and I feel okay now that I'm about to spar.
Remember I said we're not having any heavy spar. We'll see all your skills. We're taking the power out of the shot.
Trigger, trigger, trigger. Let that rear hand go. You've got to be sharp with it though. All right? All right? Don't just plod. Don't just plod. Last round coming up. Unless you're sharp. Hit you with that front foot. Hey, baby. Longer though. There's your marks and there's my marks. But it's good. Stepping in with people like that will bring you up tempo.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, a bit more tempo work. All right.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Cheers,
Thank you for your time.
Good. Big long arms, use them more. I know, but like, then obviously I'm down shorter, but I thought she was going to be big long arms, but the more you use them, even triple your jab. Because even if you miss me with the first two, you're going to catch me with the third one, do you know what I mean? Especially if I'm with a girl smaller than me, always use your reach because it's an advantage, but that was good.
Thank you very much, thanks. When you go to large tournaments, international tournaments, and it's mixed tournaments, you have the men and the women, and you often find that the crowd is near the female ring. I think because the women are very technical and they glide in the ring and they look very skillful. I think until anybody who doubts female boxing should go along to a contest and see, you know, it's probably one of the safest sports that there is at the moment, boxing.
I was completely anti-women boxing. In fact, I said I would never coach a woman boxer. And everyone in the club knew that. So guess who they got to coach the girls? Me.
Hands above your head, deep breath in. As you breathe out, come over, touch your toes.
Now, having coached them, I think they work just as hard as the men. I don't see any difference, I don't treat them any differently now. But initially, there was that suspicion, why do women want to box? You mess up their looks, are they strong enough to take it, all the rest of it. So there was a lot of prejudice in the early days, and I think some clubs, even some of the big clubs in London, don't encourage women to box.
But at first, to tell you the honest truth, I didn't recognise women doing the boxing. I didn't agree with it, So I got looking after this Scottish girl. She was brilliant. I was so shocked, I was so surprised. I think me and this other guy was in the corner, and we both looked at each other in shock, knowing the punches, what she was throwing. She was throwing the decent punches, correct punches, and she definitely looked like a boxer. She was brilliant. And it was so brilliant right now that she won the box cup. And at the end of the day, I near enough got emotional.
Someone said to me, go down and take a look at Lucy. And she was part of the team when I was boxing with the Navy, and she used to spar all the guys, and she used to get the better of the guys in her weight category. But it was because there was only one of them. I wasn't saying that she was a freak of nature, but everyone said she may be just a one-off. But then when we started training the girls, it was plain to see that the aggression, the controlled aggression they had compared to the guys who just lost it in the ring was far more easier to train than it was with the lads.
We've got Sherelle Boxing Gardner Moor from Scotland. It's the biggest box cup tournament in Europe. They're quite popular. Haringey's one been running for 6 years now, and it was they copied the Swedish Boras Box Cup tournament, which has been going for about 20 years.
Just don't touch it. Stop. It is nice when you have crowd support, and also, it does sway the judges if you have crowd support. It shouldn't, but it does. Yeah, Darren was the first coach that ever believed in me, that ever sort of said, you're going to win, I know it.
Jab! Come on, box and move. Don't wait for it, use that jab, you got a good jab. Now move!
Right, ladies and gents, our ringside official in charge is now ready. Our judges are ready. Our referees indicate our boxers are ready. We're going to get underway with the Haringey Box Cup 2013 final. In the red corner, representing the Heriot boxing team, Gardner Moor. And in the blue corner, representing the Islington Boxing Club, Sherelle Brown.
Family feel about you boxing? At first it was hard. When I told them I was competing, which is after my second fight, they didn't speak to me for a week. The words disturbed and disturbing are used to describe boxing, but they've come round now.
And the results of bout number 8 in ring C, the winner by unanimous decision, Brown in the blue corner.
11 fights, no losses. Yeah, cool. That's pretty cool. I don't know. I have to thank God, innit, as well. I got some stickers and stuck it on neatly. I know it's falling off though.
Go home, take care of the poor cat that's been by himself for too long, have a pizza. That's the plan. I've been hit harder, but she is a hard puncher. I want a rematch.
Alright, so we've got Carrie, her mum Valerie, her dad's about. I go there sometimes every Sundays, like to have like Sunday dinner. It's just really nice. So I'm smiling. Sometimes she comes to the gym and she's like, here's leftovers, and I'm like, yes, food, proper food. My mum hasn't really been around anyway, typical sob story, but Carrie's really filled in. She's like a mum and a best friend. She's awesome. I'm not trading her in for anyone. So before I was homeless, so I was living in the gym, and then I think it got a bit too much. I had to go to Stonewall Housing, which is basically like a gay community where if you're homeless, you go through them. There's no beds in there. You literally sit on the chair all night. It was so horrible. Like, you had like people with alcohol problems, drug problems. Like, the moment I got in there, someone said, if you want any drugs or sex or whatever, let me know. It was just like the worst 2 weeks of my life. To see where I was then and now, it's just like, it's so cool. I don't mind, I'm happy now. I come here as much as I can. Whenever I'm lonely, when I'm lonely, I just come up here and just chill out if Carrie's not doing anything. The thing is with my family, because of what the politics with my mum and myself, like the last time she came, I saw her was at the Boston Arms, and then it was a bit emotional and a bit angry between each other, so we've kind of just not seen each other since. So it's been a long time since then.
I'm telling you now, women have been fighting a long time. You go back 100 years and see who was fighting, and it was women. You go back to what they used to say about the old fishermen's wives and the dockers' wives, and they was having bare knuckle fights out in places like this.
You don't have to look back in history to find people saying negative things about women's boxing. They're saying much the same things now as they were saying then.
Because I wasn't just fighting in the ring, I was fighting just as much out of it. There was one time my mum ran me from Fleetwood, and she said, oh, the press are outside. And I said, well, let them in, what do they want? She said, oh, they just want... Anyway, she didn't let him in. And then it was an ex-boyfriend then sold the story on me saying, oh, it was really stupid. It was like, she won't let me have sex before a fight, and I want the lad to keep chocolate in the house. But he got paid probably a lot more than I got paid in my career to sell the story.
The press wanted us to pose in bathing suits before the fight, so we did. If there was no media attention, it didn't go anywhere.
And there was a woman called Sue Atkins who just was desperate to put on fights, and she put these fights on. And she put on one in about 1991 or 1990, and it was in Mitcham in South London, and it was above a pub where there was a legitimate professional boxing gym. And I'll never forget that it got some coverage in porno mags. The only coverage it got was in soft porn mags. I've got all of the stuff. She sent it all to me. I went down to this thing, and it was really bizarre. It wasn't quite... I don't think the punters there quite expected mud wrestling, but they clearly expected something along those lines.
And just reading some of the horrible stuff in the papers that you read, but in a way, I always think that things like that, and not at the time, but they do make you stronger.
When I first went on sparring, the boys like, oh, we don't, no sparring with a lassie, oh, we don't hit lassies and all that. And then what my coach said is, don't treat her like a woman, treat her like a boxer. You don't hit her, she's going to hit you. So it's either get beat up and bit by a lassie or hit back, you know what I mean?
And in the blue corner, representing the New Art Hill Amateur Boxing Club, Stephanie Knushen. Knushen in the blue corner.
If you can train like the boys and spar with the boys, we're going to be at the same level as the boys, we're going to be as good as the boys. We're just going to be stuck at this one level, no being able to get any higher because we've no getting the training, we're not getting the time spent.
There are a smaller number of women who are interested, but that number keeps getting smaller and smaller when they put up barriers to progression. England, they hold open days for women's training, they have GB assessments, and they've got a squad that's a lot bigger than Scotland. And I'm not saying that 50% of the money should go to the women and 50% should go to the men, because there are a lot more men that compete internationally, and for women there are only 3 weight classes that can reach the Commonwealth and the Olympics. And what's quite frustrating is Boxing Scotland's argument is that they asked for money specific to women and they weren't given it. But boxer is not a gendered word, and they have made the conscious decision to use the funding that they were given for boxers almost exclusively for male boxers. No Scottish women were put forward. It is very significant. It's the first time that female boxing has been allowed in the Commonwealth, and what's happened really is that Scottish women were denied a place in history and denied an honour that should have been an entitlement. If I hadn't qualified because I'd lost a qualifying match, that's a different story. But to not be able to go because nobody ever gave you the chance to even go into the qualifying match, that's what hurts.
People in the professional business concede that the amateur business and amateur women's boxing is on a quality level, is at a quality level, and is fantastic. But no one's going to concede that women's professional boxing in Britain is at a good level, because it's not. The bottom line is it's not. And Nicola Adams and Natasha Jonas and Savannah Marshall and the dozens of other top quality women, they're not going to go pro. They've got nowhere to go.
The women are treated so badly in this country, and it's inherent in the British Boxing Board of Control. They just do everything they can to prevent it happening.
They had the cheek to say that women's boxing wasn't a sufficient standard, but they're not. You know, they're licensing people that shouldn't be getting in a ring. I mean, that cricketer should not have got in the ring with that guy. He could not fight. He could not throw a punch. You don't even have to actually get in and have a trial now. You don't even actually have to spar to get a license. You need to be male, and you need to do some pads work.
There's another pair of scales.
I'm not going to back down. I can't. That's one of the reasons I box. It's because I don't back down. That's what I do. You pick a fight with me, I fight it to the fucking end.
It's not a matter of whether you want to fight, it's a matter of you have to. Some people have to. And the way I think, I don't care if you're male, female, Chinese, whatever, wherever you're from. If it's in you to fight, let's do it properly. Let's do it organised, let's get it done right. The same as men have. Why not? What is the difference?
In Germany, they've got like only female shows, for example, and it's sold out. And it's all well paid. It took for me like 2 years to persuade British Boxing Control to give me license. But now they need money, so they more, because each time I fight, I pay the money. So now they a bit more open to, because they need money, you know.
I've been involved in it in about 30 odd years. I'm the flag carrier for women's boxing in the British Boxing Board of Control. We had a meeting earlier this week and they'll tell you I was there plugging away for women's boxing. They can't earn the money, they don't get the work where they're professionals, etc. And they're still, frankly, discriminated against.
And again, sorry. Uh-oh. I'm quite proud that she does it. It's a sport that not many children or girls of her age do, so yeah, I'm quite happy with her. Yeah.
Loosen the same, pow, 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 pow. Come on, move your feet, tight, easy on that one.
There's some bigger girls,
What are you doing
I'm
here?
not going with them. When I grow up, I would like to be a professional boxer. I need to be really confident and strong, and I need to be ready to go up in the ring and do what my brother does.
Do you think you can do it?
Maybe.
everyone has a dream, and like most people just keep dreaming it. But what I'm trying to do is have that dream and say, right, I can make it happen. Like, I'm gonna make it happen, and I'm gonna have to sacrifice a hell of a lot, and I am sacrificing a lot.
There was a big headline in one of the papers saying it's unladylike, right? That was it. And I remember my mum saying, unladylike? It's unladylike to be on your hands and knees cleaning the fucking kitchen floor or changing nappies is unladylike. I don't even know what ladylike is.